I'm your host, the one and only Johny Invest. Never, ever, ever duplicate it. Smack that subscribe button and subscribe to Invest Universal and be notified every time we drop dope, banging, smacking content. And we got fire in the building right now, man. I see my man in the summer, man, on stage. And he got a hell of a lot bigger than what I seen him last time, man. I mean, like, he trying to do some bodybuilding or something like that. I think last time he do like men's physique or something like that. Man came in yoked on me, man. But I'm really, really blessed and graceful that my man would give us a little bit of his time. I want to welcome fitness coach, entrepreneur, fellow fitness competitor, Marques Burris to the Invest Podcast. Marques, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Yes, sir, man. And listen, bro, it's been a blessing to be here. I appreciate the invite. I'm doing amazing, man. Especially with the sun coming out. Finally,
Yeah.
It's been a long winter in Sacramento.
For sure, man. I watch you, man. I see you online. I see your stuff, man. I see you moving around, man. I was like, man, I got to get with this dude at some point in time. When I decided to launch the Invest Podcast in studio, you're one of the first names that came to my mind. Yeah. I met you in the summer, man. We're both doing a fitness show. Man, you seem super duper cool. I said, I don't know. I think somehow I'm end up working with this cat, man. Your personality was cool, man. This is a solid dude, man. So, Marques, though, when we start the show off, man, tell people a little bit about you. Say, where you're from. Let them know about Mr. Burris.
Yeah, man. So it's a good question. And just to piggyback on that, the comment you said earlier was funny because I remember when I met you, you brought in a whole mirror inside the back room. This man said he was serious.
Yeah.
I ain't taking no time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure my physique is on point. I was like, hold up, bro. Where'd you get that mirror, bro? I brought it. I'm like, this man is serious. I said, dang. But yeah, man. So I'm basically, originally from the Bay Area, San Jose, California. Okay. I moved around a lot, though. I went from San Jose to this place called Los Banos when I was like 5, 6 years old. Okay. Not many people know this, but Los Banos is it's Spanish for the bathrooms.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The bathroom, El Baño. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so it was like 30,000 people there. Okay. So it was really small town living. Eventually, I moved to Stockton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Stockton, finished out high school there. Okay. Went to college at Chico State. You know what I mean? Got my bachelor's in psychology. Nice. And then eventually transitioned to Europe for like a year.
Oh. What part of Europe?
Man, I was at the University of Essex in Colchester.
Wow, this dude's travel, man.
Yeah. So I went there to study abroad for a year. Randomly ended up on like the basketball team there.
Okay.
And then we went to like the championships.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
What?
Yeah, man.
I didn't know my man did stay in Europe, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went there, man. It was amazing just because you got to see different people and understand that America is not the way it is in other places.
Everywhere, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's different, you know what I'm saying? So as soon as I went there, people thought that it was like, where you from, man? Because you don't talk like us. You have, for some reason, you're more positive. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Cali. They're like, oh, you from Cali? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so there's a different kind of image that we carry as Americans, especially African Americans, right? We have a different kind of swag about us that kind of stands out in other countries. So they love that. And then after Europe, man, I went ahead and transitioned to, went back home for like a year, trying to figure out, like after I graduated, right? Went to figure out like what the hell I'm gonna do. Man, eventually I was like, man, I'm just gonna go grad school.
Okay.
Right? I was like, you know what they teach us, man, is this. They always teach us to go, if you want to make more money,
okay,
right? They teach you to go ahead and give people more education.
Right.
And my thoughts on that have changed a little bit. I'll be honest with you.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that because, like, I'm one of the type of people that I'm a little bit of outside the box thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not the one that necessarily follows exactly what the crowd's doing.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm not going to follow the crowd, but I'm really looking to make sure if that really makes sense. Let's talk about that because they do tell you to make more money that you got to go out there and get education. I'm a big fan of education, but for me, I think it needs to be the right type of education to be able to make you money. But I think with you and your higher education, I think you can touch on that a little bit. Let's unpack that real fast.
Yeah, so I'll go into exactly what happened because when I went to grad school, first off, I wasn't making enough money after my bachelor's, so I went into teaching.
That's a 4-year degree.
5 years.
In money.
Yeah, at $40,000 in debt. Started off from the jump.
Oof.
Then I went. I was like, okay, well, I'm not making much money as a teacher.
So you have your bachelor's degree, and you're thinking in your head, right? As most people go to school, get your 4-year degree. Yeah. I'm gonna get out of school. I'm gonna get the job that's gonna pay me at least 85 to 90.
Yep.
Off top, so I got that degree.
Mm-hmm.
So that ain't quite happened to you.
Oh, no, man. I was applying to places, and it was interesting because when I was applying to places with my degree, I'm like, oh, man, I'm black.
Yeah.
I'm educated.
For sure.
They're gonna be.
Oh, I'm in there. Yeah.
Man, I applied for places for like 6 months. Didn't get nothing.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, I can't be sitting on my dad's couch for the next, few years of my life. I got to do something.
Right.
So I started teaching. Still wasn't enough because I was a substitute teacher.
Oh man,
Boy, them kids was treating me.
Who was you? What kid? What grade level?
So I was a substitute teacher for like any dang grade, all the way up to 12. So
man.
First grade all the way to 12th grade.
They all rough.
Oh man, and the worst part about it was that they liked me so much because I was young and black and I was hip, right?
Yeah.
So
cool teacher.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
So what happened was I was at an alternative school. This is the school that
you got continuation school.
Continuation school. So you see what I'm saying? So what happened with that is, guess what? I got all the kids that didn't want to go to school, wanted to get into fights, were pregnant at the age of 13. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to talk back to the teacher. Yeah. And I went there one time. I was like, okay, that was cool. I'm going to go home. They called me the next day. They said, hey, do you want to do a 3-month stint, to go ahead and teach our kids? And I was like, sure, why not? That's consistent pay.
Yeah.
Yo, I didn't know what I was in for, bro.
Yeah.
Teachers don't get paid enough, man. I promise you that. They don't. They almost get, they try to get into some stuff with me. Like a kid try to raise up on me because he didn't want to do a test.
You're teaching a continuation school because a continuation school is basically the kids that got kicked out of regular school for one thing or another. Most of it is that there's some girls that went to continuation school because they're pregnant, but most of it, let's be real, because they hella bad.
Yeah, it was tough, man. So after doing that, that's when I was like, I gotta apply to grad school, right? So it was kind of like, that's what society taught me to do. Hey, if you don't like where you're at, go back to school. Go back to school. So then I applied to grad school, got my master's in education policy. And, what I did with that was I just like, okay, cool. Now I have a master's.
Wow, you got a master's?
Yeah, I got a master's.
My boy got a master's degree, a BA. My dude is Invest right there.
Bro,
for show.
Bro,
I love, man.
Trust me.
My dude.
Trust me, bro. I went and got a lot of education. I'm not even done yet. So I went and got a master's in education. Okay. Finished that within about a year and a half. Done with that. And I'm like, all right, cool. Now I'm going to get the job of my dreams. Man, I went ahead and got a job at the school as basically a program advisor. Okay. And I started off at like making $35K per year. Now, that's not a lot in California, but it was decent in Illinois where I was at.
Yeah, okay.
So I just got stuck in Illinois because I couldn't get a job in California. Yeah. So I was like, okay, had to deal with rough winters.
Hey,
Illinois, negative 20-degree weather. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't call it the Windy City for no reason.
Yeah, for sure.
It was tough. So I was like, all right, I got to get out of this.
Yeah, for sure.
But how am I going to get more money?
Yeah.
Once again, went back to that same strategy. Well, I got to get more education.
Okay.
So I went and got another master's.
Man, y'all listen to this, y'all.
I went and got another master's.
Y'all listen to this right here. That's 2 master's degree right there.
Bro, I got another master's.
That should be at least $150K right there.
Bro, I'm telling you.
No. Yeah.
Went and got another master's. And I got a master's in HR. Okay? Human resources. Okay. Now, you would think, okay, master's in HR, I'm coming out. So I finally get a job to get back to California. All right, which I'm excited for because I'm around my family and stuff like that. Landed up in Sacramento. That's exactly how I ended up in Sacramento.
Okay.
So started working for PepsiCo.
Okay.
So Pepsi products, right? They sell chips and all that, and drinks. Yeah. So I'm doing that for a little bit. And I'm starting off making around like 85, 90K per year. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Right now I'm better. Like that's times my income by 3.
Pretty good spot.
Right. I'm cool. So I started to work a little bit. Bro, the job was so stressful that first year. Yeah. I said, oh, I can't do this for the rest of my life. Yeah. There's no way. They basically, so it was interesting because they put me on salary automatically.
You were in HR management there?
Yeah, so I was a business partner.
Oh, no, okay.
So it's higher up in HR. The qualifications were to have a master's.
Yes, in there, yes, business partner, yeah.
Right. So, and it didn't fit my personality whatsoever, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I was too cool with the employees.
Yeah, HR, man, you gotta like, you have to really keep that little bit of balance where you're personable, but still have to keep that separation and where I'm HR.
Yeah, man, it's not a friendly job because you got to be the bad guy every once in a while.
And sometimes you got to fire people and do that type of stuff.
Or at least be in the same room.
Be in the room, yeah. And that supervisor doing that.
Dude, and I got to coach the supervisor or manager to do it. Yeah. And I just got to be there and sit there. You got people like complaining the fact that they're gonna lose their job and what's gonna happen with their kids, and it's just a sad situation. It's always dealing with more stress, right? So I said, I can't do this for longer than a year, man. This is tough. Wow. Stay for a year. Now, in that time frame, here's what I realized. In that time frame, I said, even though I have this job, I need to make sure I start paying down my loans. Right. Looked at my student loans, and I said, okay, my student loans are about 100 and like 10,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right.
Damn, 110,000 in student loan debt?
Man. Listen, it costs to be a boss. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, Dad, let me just go ahead and just knock this out. Right. So I started coming with a payment plan, talked to Sally Mae. Yeah. Sally Mae's like, all right, so what we can do is we'll take 10% of, whatever you make right now, and we'll go ahead and apply that to the loan, every single month. Yeah. Throughout the rest of the year, basically, and break it down to monthly payments. So I said, all right, cool. So then keep in mind, I'm making like $90K. Okay, so I'm like, okay, well, after taxes, I'm getting like 55, so they probably gonna take, 5,500, break down to months, right? Right. Come to find out, they said, no, we taking 10% of the 90.
Because they're going off of your, they're going off your gross.
They going off my gross. I said,
but you don't get your gross.
I said, wait a second. How are you guys gonna take the money that y'all already taken from the state? The state's already taking my taxes. And then y'all gonna tax me on top of that.
On top of that.
She said, well, if you want, you can just go ahead and get a roommate and just live with them for a few years. I'm like,
is that what they told you?
I promise you.
Oh, Jesus.
I promise you. I said, so you want me, a grown-ass man. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. A grown-ass man to go and live with another grown-ass man at the age of 30 years old. So I can go ahead and pay off my student loan debt? She said, yes, well, a lot of people do. I said, I beg to differ, ma'am. I'm not doing that.
Man.
So I said, nah, there's got to be another way. So I was done getting the education because I saw that route was putting me into a hole. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and start making payments anyway. Just make sure I pay it down a little bit. Yeah. Keep in mind, $110,000 when it started. All right? Yeah. So I started making monthly payments, $500 every single month. So I did that for the next, let's just say I did that for over 3 years. I was with the company. Yeah. So you figure 500 times 12, that's 60 years. That's 18,000 that I pretty much put in roughly around that amount.
Interest is piling up on that one too.
I didn't think about that. I said, no, they wouldn't do me like that. Because when you're 18 and you sign this little contract that gives away your you have to kind of literally read the contract because the contract is saying, the interest is crazy, but you're like, what else can I do?
What can you do?
So what I did was I said, all right, I'm going to pay it off, for the next 3 years. Didn't even look at it. I didn't want to look at it because it was going to psych me out, right? So at the end of my term, 3 years, I was like, man, I'm almost done with this. Let me see what the heck my loan is at. It was at 110. Dog, I looked at it. I was like, oh, it should be down under 100 by now. Yo, that thing said 113 grand. I said, how?
What did you pay? What was you paying?
Dog, I realized right then, I said, this is pointless. Yeah. This is pointless.
Woo.
So I said, I think I made a bad bet, but you know what I did? I was like, there has to be another way. Yeah. So it kind of motivated me to find an alternative solution to just working this 9-to-5 thing that one, I didn't like. Yeah. I was decent at, but I wasn't passionate about it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm stuck in this loan debt, and I'm going to be here for the rest of my life? Yeah. I might as well do something I love. I'm going to pay something off.
One thing I talk about when it comes to, people's, careers. Yeah. And it comes to money and things of that nature. I feel when you're in a career or in a job, you tend to be the happiest when you're actually doing a job or doing something that kind of fits you.
Yeah.
When you're having to kind of, put on this facade and work really, really hard to go and deal with something, even if the money is good, it starts to really build that unhappiness inside you. It starts to really build that resentment inside you. So it brings me to kind of our next topic. And I tell people in life is really short.
Yeah.
I tell people that, at most if we're lucky, we might get 80, 85 years. That's not an extremely long time. You're here, you're gone.
Yep.
Like I said on my last show, I really try to be the guy to really promote people to try to do some things that they're passionate about, some things that they truly enjoy.
Yep.
Look at what it is you like. What do you enjoy? What are you really good at? And try to put together a plan to maybe you can do that for your life. Maybe you can do that for your career. But let's talk about the value of people actually chasing their true purpose. Because like you said, society sometimes can set you up for failure because the whole crowd is following that. They don't even know if it really fits them. They don't even know if they really want to go ahead and do that. They don't know if they want to go to school.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me, man, I'm going to school for this degree. I'm getting ready to graduate in this major. I don't even know if I want to do it. And I'm like, why did you pick that? Well, they told me it was good. It had good job growth over the next 10 to 15 years, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Shit. It's a lot of money to go spend to not know.
Yeah. No, it's 100% true. I mean, I think we're pressured to actually pick something that we're going to do for the rest of our lives, but it's because the only reason why that happens is because that's exactly what our parents were taught.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, our parents' were taught, right?
Yeah.
Get a job, get with a good company,
right, good
and then good benefits, safety, security, so you can sleep good at night, not worry about anything.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, after you work for them for 30 years, you can walk away, get your gold watch, and you'll be happily ever after.
Yeah.
People now are starting to figure out that's BS.
They are.
They're starting to figure it out. One, we're no longer doing pensions anymore for most companies.
Most are not.
We're doing 401k.
That's good.
And what's going on is 401k is running out at a certain age because inflation rates are higher up than they ever had before. Oh, bro, I was in HR. I had to know this stuff. I had to go to class for this.
Benefits and all that.
So when I realized that, when I'm in class, I'm like, oh, so what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We learning this stuff that's going to hurt us long term. Why are we still putting into this 401k and acting like it's going to be our saving grace? Yeah. And it's false. We've been taught a narrative that no longer works.
Yeah, different type of
right?
change.
And not only that, but like you said this. You said following your purpose.
Right.
Man, we are on the best time in history in terms of following your purpose and making money from it. We have this thing, our device in our hands at any given time that we can post, we can use, we can literally go ahead and promote for free in whatever we want to do. I know people who have made thousands of dollars in a day based upon a hobby that they started.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that just brings me to exactly what I was like. I start to see all these kids making money, whether it's selling drop shipping products or, affiliate marketing, making thousands a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I having a master's degree and I'm barely living check to check because I got to pay Sally Mae and it's pointless to pay Sally Mae because she don't care about me. She's getting more. I feel like I was getting robbed. Matter of fact, I started to right. And I realized I was like, salary is just another form of slavery. And the reason why I said that is because as soon as I started that corporate job, they gave me a cell phone, they gave me an iPad, and they gave me a computer. And I said, you know what? I said, this is great.
Yeah.
Later on, I realized that was just to keep tabs on me.
Oh, okay.
To make sure that I'm always working no matter what time of the day it was.
Wow.
And so that's when I was like, oh, this is a strategy that they've developed to say, hey, have this stuff. But in reality, this is so we can track you.
Okay.
We want to make sure that you're doing work when we ask you to do work. I don't care if it's 7, 8 o'clock at night on a Friday evening. You better get to work because we need things to do. we need things for you to do ASAP.
Wow.
And when I started to feel that pressure, I said, I can't do this.
Yeah. So at some point in time, I'm guessing that you ended up resigning from PepsiCo?
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Because there was a few different things that happened at this company where, I as soon as I started, that first year was tough because in my beginning period, maybe the third, fourth month, my manager who was taking over all this, responsibility, she was kind of grooming me.
Yeah.
She basically went on leave for the next 6 months. Okay. So all of her job, I had to take over.
And you were kind of new in your job.
I was new. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Thrown in the water.
Thrown in the water with full of sharks.
Damn.
So they came at me saying, "Oh, you know everything." I said, no, but I had to figure it out on the fly.
Yes.
Eventually, I figured it out on the fly, and she came back. Things resumed as normal, and then she leaves after that year. So I had to do a search for another, manager, and he was trash.
Oh, man.
So I had to take over his job. So I'm doing multiple jobs all the time.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I got to figure out a way out of this. Yeah. And so how I resigned and transitioned was it was like my third year, the beginning of my third year, and I got a review. And the review was off. Like it was saying that they were blaming me for not
review, right?
Yeah. And so the review was saying that I was not necessarily, producing what I should have been doing for my specific role. Okay. And I said, that's fair. However, that's because I'm covering other roles.
Yeah, multiple roles.
So how would you expect me to cover multiple roles and still give my 100%
job
role?
Right.
So I said, I'm sorry, man. I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, I don't really feel valued at this company. So because I don't feel valued, I think it's best that we separate ways. Yeah. And what we can do is this. You guys should just pay me out for my time frame, at least a few months, so I can go ahead and transition and find something better suited for me so they can appreciate me more.
Wow.
And they said, and I know for a fact you guys don't want to go the legal route, but if you guys do happen to want to go that route, that's fine. My sister's a lawyer. We can discuss that, and we can talk about how there's discrimination within this company because of the color of my skin.
Oh man!
And I'm pretty sure we don't go that route.
Oh,
we don't want to go that route. And the boss man looked at me. He said, "Wow, yeah, I wasn't expecting this."
Yeah. You'll take that review and just run with it and tuck your tail and just get with it. But you believe that you had did so much for them that was outside of your role. Mm-hmm. They should have took a little bit more of that into consideration. From at that point, you just decided that this was not the move for you.
Right.
And so now I see you online. I see you going to events like entrepreneurship things. Talk to me a little bit about. We're gonna get to your fitness stuff too, but I want to touch on because I've heard of this event. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. Yep. It's called the Invest Fest. I actually follow them on YouTube and stuff like that. And I seen you out there. So, my man is out there doing things, making moves. Seeing you out there with your lady. Look like you were enjoying yourself, man. I seen some of the content there. Like, how was that whole event, that energy, being around those people, the good vibes, the things that you learned, I want to get out there eventually, man, but please, let's unpack what you took away from that.
Yeah, man, so it's interesting because it's like a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Right? Invest Fest is something that was put on by, these two gentlemen that really believe in entrepreneurship, especially for young Black Americans, right? Okay. Because what we've been taught is to just work for somebody, like I said to you before, work for somebody until, you retire, die, and that's it. That's life. Yeah. But their motto is, listen, we were not put on this earth just to pay bills and die.
Just to pay bills, just to buy. Yeah.
We weren't designed on this earth to do that. So find what you're passionate about, invest in yourself to make sure that you take control of your life.
Right.
Otherwise, if you don't take control of your life, someone's going to control it for you.
For sure.
It's either you are making somebody else rich by working for them, or you work for yourself to make sure that you make yourself rich. Okay. And so with InvestFest, there's different types of entrepreneurs that you follow in the space, whether it's digital marketing, right? Or they've done some drop shipping, or Steve Harvey was there, P. Diddy was there, right? Yeah, we connected with a lot of people, like all the major entrepreneurs in the space, some of the mentors that I've worked with in the past. These guys are making, multiple six figures a month, sometimes even millions a month, just because of the art of marketing.
Yes.
So why wouldn't you want to be around not only them, but other people who have the same interest in actually investing in themselves to make sure they level up? Yeah. Because now you're surrounded by a whole bunch of people who have invested in themselves. Yeah. and they're okay with investing more to get to that next level. Because we don't believe in the 9-to-5 mentality anymore. We figured out that doesn't work. So you have to surround yourself by other people who believe in something more.
Okay.
That there's more to life than just kind of working the 9-to-5 and daily grind. Doing stuff that you love, making sure that you're impacting and improving other people's lives. Whatever you want to do, invest in yourself to make sure that you can make things happen. That's it. And I loved it, man. It was an amazing experience, right? I mean, Atlanta's a beautiful place. It was hot as hell, but it was a beautiful place to be because you're surrounded by a lot of millionaire people who want more than just the average life.
Yeah, you can definitely soak that in. Yeah, it's funny that you went to Invest Best. This is the Invest podcast.
Yeah.
My clothing brand is Invest Apparel.
Yeah.
So it's like fitting for you definitely to be able to come on the show, man. So let's talk a little bit. Let's unpack a little bit about your journey with fitness. I'd seen some pictures and stuff of you and years back. You made some transitions to what you became later. So you weren't always like this fitness buff, or were you always?
No, man.
Yeah. That's
so
stuff.
Yeah. So it kind of started when I was at PepsiCo, right?
Yeah.
Like when I was at PepsiCo, I started to realize something. Like I've always been trying to, be active as possible. Especially, because I was in the basketball team, right? I was like, oh, man, I'm a fit athlete. Don't have to worry about much.
Right.
And what happened was I started working for a soda company.
Okay.
And when I started working for this soda company, I started to gain a little bit of weight.
Right, yeah.
But it's interesting, too, because, when I start to gain weight, nobody really tells you that you're gaining weight.
No, you're not on a scale either, because it's like you're gaining weight, but it's like in the mirror. It's like it's sudden, and you don't really see pictures of yourself, and you're like, damn, I added some, but nobody really say nothing to you.
No one's gonna say anything to you until you start reversing it.
Oh, okay.
So when I was like, you know what? I'm cutting out this soda.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually, get on a diet plan. So I met my guy at the gym, created this diet plan for me. I was like, I'm gonna be more structured.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I was like, I need to make sure that I lose this gut. And here's the thing that happened. The one person that told me that I was getting a little big was my sister. And it was interesting, too, because, like I said, nobody tells you anything. Except for sometimes family members will randomly tell you.
Yeah.
But it's very subtle, so you have to catch it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I know.
Yeah. So my sister, she lives in L.A.
Okay.
And I live here.
Yeah.
So I went to see her one time, and she said, dang, bro.
I've seen you in a minute.
Oh, dang, bro, you getting big. And she hit my stomach like this. And I said, ooh. I said, hold up.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yo, what you mean by that?
Yeah.
Just getting a little husky.
Yeah.
And I realized, I was like, oh, snap, I let myself go.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that tipped it over. And then when I went to this trainer, he said, man, what do you want to do with your results? I said, man, I want to get a six-pack because I had a trip coming up.
Okay.
What happened.
I want to get a six-pack for the trip. For sure. Yeah,
so I'm like in the gym. I want to make sure I get right. He's like, yeah, man, you can get a six-pack. He said, raise your shirt up a little bit. I said, okay. So I raised my shirt up in front of the whole gym. Oh. And he said, yeah, man, you need to lose about 15 pounds. And then you start to see more of, a six-pack. And I said, dude just told me I was fat politely.
Yeah. He's a professional with it though, right?
Yeah. And I said, dang. So it really clicked.
Right.
So I cut out everything that I was doing, eating candy, fast food. Like I really honed in on this diet to get ready for this trip.
Right.
And then that was the first of it. And then all of a sudden later on, what I did was I tried 75 hard.
Okay.
75 hard. You know what that is.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Strictly on a diet plan.
Hard. Hard.
Strictly on a diet plan, reading 10 pages of something that's, development books.
Yes.
A day.
Yes.
Making sure that I was drinking a gallon of water every single day.
Every day.
Working out twice a day.
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh, it's hard for a reason.
For sure, but it's hard that.
Oh, man. So I was doing all this, and taking cold showers every day, no alcohol.
Yeah, cold shower. Oh.
Bro, it was a different level of discipline. Like you told me earlier, right? What this podcast is all about, how you invest in yourself. You want to make sure that you apply, the discipline, the consistency, and the work ethic. Sure. 75 Hard taught me those aspects and understood that. I was like, okay, if I can work out 2 times a day, I can at least work out once a day.
At least.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to translate a lot of these habits to later on. And so eventually, bro, I got to the place where I got a six pack. It was cool.
For sure, I seen you.
Yeah, right.
Man was right.
Yeah. got a six pack, but then then I was too small. That's what happened.
Yeah. We're chasing that. It's hard because we're chasing that condition, want that six pack, want those abs, and then we look at the flip side of that, and it's
So I was like, okay, so what do I do next? And that's when I eventually hired a bodybuilding coach.
Yeah.
Chris Dim.
Probably the most the best bodybuilder I would say probably to ever come out of Sacramento. Chris Dim like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, the physique on that man, what he had was just truly amazing. And then the fact that he's actually taking his knowledge, his wisdom, he's coaching this stable of athletes, man. Just we'll talk real quick, like how is it just being in his space, his information, his knowledge? I mean, that guy has been like to the pinnacle. I believe he's been on stage, Olympia, after Olympia. There's a lot of bodybuilders.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of guys, especially out of Sacramento, that's been where he went. Just having him as your coach, man, how is that? I mean, see you. I mean, how, just that mentalness, man. Like, explain that to me real quick.
Yeah, man. You know what's interesting?
How'd you give it, Chris?
So what happened was I was actually in the gym one day, and I seen somebody that I hadn't seen in a while, and I saw that he had actually put on a lot of muscle in a short time frame. Okay. So I asked him, I was like, hey, man, what you been doing, bro? Good. Man, what's up? And he said, man, my coach, man, he's been putting me on this diet plan, been killing me in the workouts. I said, oh, who's that? And he showed me Chris Dennis' profile. And I said, okay, dude, that's what's up. Let me hit him up. He's like, man, hit him up. He's really cool. And I said, all right. So I hit him up, got on a call with him. We talked a little bit. It's interesting because in the profile, I didn't really look at his profile too much. I just saw his profile picture.
Yeah.
And then I just went over to his crib and he trained me. Funny thing is, I didn't know he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So I roll up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this dude in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I was like, how's this man gonna train me like this? But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to his advice.
Yeah.
Let me see what he got. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to judge nobody based on their situation.
Right.
So he started training me, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, this dude knows what he's talking about. He has some different level techniques that's going to take us to the next level. Wow. So I said, all right, let me just stick with this. And he said, yeah, let's just start, for like 12 weeks. We'll do it, every month or so, payments and stuff like that. I said, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
Why not? Because it's an investment. It's investing to myself, my discipline, my level of conditioning. Like, I want to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be like, oh, yeah, that guy has a six-pack. I want to make sure I stand out when I walk in a room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and not only that, I'm going to apply that to what I already do right now, which is coaching.
Right.
So I said, all right, so let me get with this guy. Okay. Got with him. And I promise you, dude, within like a month or two, I put on at least about 5 to 7 pounds of lean muscle, dropped some body fat. Like, it was crazy. It's because the conditioning that he does it was really intense. And then I followed a very structured diet plan. Yeah. So then what happened was I just blew up.
Even at 5 to 6 to 7 pounds when it's lean, it looks like 20 because just the lean.
Yeah. So it was about 2 months. I put on at least 5-7 pounds, and I was like, whoa, what? But then I cut down fat, so then I balanced out my diet. You know what I'm saying? So then I looked like huskier, and then all of a sudden, then I was, cut still. I said, okay.
Yeah, because the diet, the training.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, you're 220 right now. Where'd you compete at when I saw you in the summer? Were you like how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you at when you stepped on stage for Men's Physique?
So, man, I was about like 195.
You're 20-something pounds bigger. Like, I seen you online, and I seen like the videos and stuff you've been putting out. But I when you came through the door, I'm like, my man had packed on a good 20 since the last time I seen that. That's due to just the work with Chris.
Oh, man, yeah. So he's next level. So it's been a year since I've been working with him now. Whoa. You know what I mean? So you figure like the consistency, the discipline, that conditioning.
Yes.
I mean, over time, it makes your muscle more dense. I mean, as you know, you get more shredded. You learn a little bit more discipline in terms of staying the course.
Right.
And I mean, initially, it was kind of challenging. I was used to like hanging out when I wanted to and tracking
foods. Hard. Weighing stuff.
Yeah, and it was kind of challenging. But then all of a sudden, after a while, it's interesting. Like,
used to it.
Your body kind of gets used to it. Matter of fact, when I started to eat out every once in a while, my stomach didn't take to it.
Right.
I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
And it's because, when you eat out, you got extra sodium in it, you know what I'm saying? Extra oils that you're not used to. The carbs are a little different. Like everything's different. So your body doesn't respond to things well when you eat something that's like foreign to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, what I'm doing is working right now. So get to the show, what happened was I wasn't planning to do a show. I just wanted to train and
you want to get in shape.
I want to get in shape so I can pass the knowledge along to my clients. Right. I want to get in shape to make sure that it's easier to get and retain clients because people really don't sign up to like get workouts. They sign up because they like you and want to be what you are.
Who you are.
Yes.
You have to really be that one to really motivate them to want to be able to work with you. What's about you that stands out?
Yes.
If you're not someone that I aspire to be in fitness or business, I'm not going to hire you to be my coach just because you're talking and running your mouth.
Nah.
You got to actually put out that body of work.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. So I was like, okay. So I wasn't going into it thinking like, oh, I want a bodybuilder, right? I want to get ready for a competition.
Yeah.
It wasn't until maybe about, I'd say maybe like 10 weeks out.
Okay.
He was like, you know, you could do a show. And I was like.
So you was working with Chris, not even with the idea of going competitive?
Nah.
Just to be looking good and to motivate your clients?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so I thought it was just the plan was just to go on stage. I didn't know that.
Now, because the show was in July?
Yeah.
I started working with Chris in like February. So then he mentioned the show in maybe April-ish, May-ish. Okay. You know, like maybe May-ish. Yeah. He was like, man, you look pretty good. You want to do a show? And I was like, what? No, I don't want to do that. You know, that's too much. I'm like posing, like, no, that's too much. Like, I didn't want to do that. You know, I just thought of dudes in like, panties and I thought of all the negative stuff.
Yeah, negative stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, no, that's not me. He said, all right, but you could do it. And so what happened was 7 weeks out.
Okay.
He was like, you know, I want you to connect with my guy. He's, he just wants to teach you some posing.
Wait, so you didn't decide. So you decided to do the show kind of last minute?
Last minute.
You already had the body in that area though.
He said I did.
Okay.
I've never been to a show.
You didn't know.
I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know?
Yeah.
So he brings over a student of his that had his pro card who taught me some posing strategies, right? So I said, all right. I just went with it, and did some posing. And the guy, when I took my shirt off, the guy was like, "Oh, dude, you on point. You 7 weeks out? Oh yeah, you can do some damage." And I said, "Really?" And, so it was confirmation.
Wow, I didn't even know what he had.
Didn't know. So I was like, okay. And so after he left, my coach was like, so we need you to sign up later tonight.
Dope though, man. I didn't know your story with that. That's some dope stuff right there, man.
Yeah. So I signed up, then paid them fees, and I guess I'm doing this.
Paid
right?
fees, had to sign up and become a member of the NPC and all that and whatnot, and enter your divisions and all that. Man, that's crazy, man. I never knew that. Man. When I seen you show up and you was actually checking in front of me, I thought that you always had the plan to do that. That's a really dope story. But also too, talk to me about with you deciding to go out there and compete, with you improving your physique, improving your body though, you're also able to be a better teacher and a better coach, to your clients.
Oh man, it's next level.
I see not to knock any trainers or anything like that, but I feel like to really, to me, I feel to really motivate and inspire, like I said before, that people have to want to aspire to somewhat be like you.
Man, it's the craziest thing that you say that, because I talk about this all the time, right? Do not hire a trainer that is not in shape.
Right, he's an out of shape trainer. How is that? I mean, he doesn't follow. They most likely aren't following the plan.
How am I gonna listen to you and you out of shape, right? And so this is why I respect Chris so much, because he's in a wheelchair and he's still in shape.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he even competed in a wheelchair.
Yeah, the para, in the para division. Yes.
And so I'm like, I have no excuses now.
And this man is in a wheelchair, guys. And this man is still in shape. He's still eating right. He has every excuse in the world to let himself go.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you got 2 feet that work. I mean, come on, yo. What is the excuse for not this brings me back to one of my final questions for you, man. I'm a real big believer in you don't gotta be this like bodybuilder, Mr. Olympia, this Greek god, but I'm a firm believer that everybody should put a little bit, probably be a little bit active. I think everybody should at least kind of look at the thing that you're putting in your body, because what people really don't realize is food is medicine. It's medicine, either it can be medicine, bad medicine, or it can be good medicine. Yeah. Because the food that you put in your body can be what eventually kills you a hell of a lot earlier. Yep. And unfortunately, I noticed that most people don't choose to make life changes with their eating habits, exercise habits, unfortunately, until the doctor tells them they have something wrong. Yeah. You can almost guarantee that if you neglect your body, you neglect your health for a number of years, eventually you're most likely going to get that conversation with your physician. Am I right?
Oh,
my God. Why don't you be a little proactive? Am I right?
Oh, my goodness. Listen, I have so many testimonies in terms of people I've helped where they were hesitant.
I think something you had a number, it said 100 plus people helped or something like that.
Oh,
so
man.
It says text boss to boss up. So,
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So I've helped over 250 people.
So when he said 100, it was 100 times 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me, boss.
Yeah, man. So, what we've done is we made sure we cut out, all the guesswork.
Okay.
For anybody. A lot of times what people do is they just kind of go into a gym not having a strategy.
For sure.
And it takes them so long to see any kind of result.
For sure.
Not only that, they don't have a strategy in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So even if you work out 7 days a week, which is me, by the way, I did this at one point in time.
I did that too.
Right?
Yeah.
Just working out every single day.
Every day.
And then right after I would work out, I'll go across the street, go eat a burrito.
And I felt good because I put that work in. I put 2 hours in, and I just burnt it. I just killed it by getting a super burrito from Alberto's.
That's exactly
it. But I mean, I put in 2 hours in the gym, though.
Yeah. And then here's the lie that we tell ourselves: we deserve it.
Oh yeah, I deserve it all the time.
We deserve it. I deserve to eat a burrito because I worked hard, but not knowing that that's actually negating. Matter of fact, it's worse than negating. It actually goes against your goal in general, because a lot of times those calories are more than what you burned in the first place.
For sure.
So now you're just going negative every single time. So it's better you probably didn't even work out.
Probably didn't. I didn't know that.
That's what I'm saying. So, I realized that I was like, I'm just kind of tired of seeing people struggle in terms of just not having a game plan. So now what I do, man, just to make sure I make it real easy for them, give them a white glove service. I customize the nutrition, customize the workouts, making sure I hold them accountable on a daily basis.
Accountability is big.
Bro, and then I guarantee them results. Matter of fact, they do not leave my program until they get their result.
Guaranteed results.
Guaranteed results. So they don't have any type of excuse as to why they shouldn't be able to, join or anything like that. I try to help as many people as possible, man, but it's really up to the individual to make that investment in themselves.
Man.
Yeah.
That right there. Give me that bag over there for me, Jane, please. The bag for me. That right there is some value right there. Hey, so another thing that I talk about people, and when it comes to having a game plan, of course you gotta have a game plan, but also too, I'm a big believer in people just kind of instead of just going maybe just full force and just changing their life, they kind of like transition into it. If you're so much far this way, it's going to be a lot harder, someone that's already kind of doing it to really make those changes. And I see a lot of people that say, well, man, I went on this diet and I did good for like 2 months. Oh man, I cut out this, I cut out that. But I'm like, is that really realistic? And then from where you came from and where you were at already, your level of fitness, it's almost like you was set up to kind of like fail. So I see people, they go on these like crash diets, they always kind of fail, some after a month, some after 2, some after 3. But failure is usually for sure. It's just talking really quick about the mindset when it comes to changing the lifestyle. I talk about change your lifestyle. Don't go on a diet, just slowly transition into a healthier lifestyle. It becomes easier because diets are just, you're going to crash and burn eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends upon what your goals are, right?
Right.
Like, most people, I mean, we live in this microwave generation.
For sure.
I call it that because everybody wants something quick,
right away,
easy, right away.
Right.
No work necessary.
No work necessary.
Cut out all carbs, and you're gonna see amazing results.
Yeah, but
I always tell people, I said, listen, can you do this for the rest of your life? If the answer is no, then you probably shouldn't do it, because as soon as you have carbs once again into your body, your body's going to soak it up. You're going to put on an extra 5-10 pounds within that week, and then you're going to get discouraged and say, dang, what did I do? So I always tell my clients, man, you got to have something that's sustainable.
Right.
I give people a sustainable approach, so where now when they see the weight loss, they can keep it off for good.
For sure.
So that's the difference. I don't try to do no quick fixes. Yeah, there's little small hacks that you do. You know, like people trying to do intermittent fasting or carb cycling, or there's different little strategies which are fine. But always ask yourself the question: can I do this for the rest of my life?
Long term. Yeah.
If I can't, then don't start it.
Don't start it.
People do juicing and stuff like that. Dude, look, you know how much muscle mass people be losing with juicing? Like, yo, they be having flabby arms. Like, what you doing?
What you doing? I never.
That don't look good.
I was a big fan of that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, if you ain't got no muscle definition, trust me, you still not gonna feel good when you take your clothes off.
Still not gonna feel good.
Nah, you still gonna feel insecure.
For sure.
You seen people with those surgeries, the weight loss surgeries.
They
lose all the weight and then they got all the flab.
Right.
Now they don't feel comfortable.
They don't feel good.
Going naked. And I said, dang, what's the point?
No quick fix, y'all, to any of this. Takes work, takes sustainability, being realistic and honest with yourself, and getting a solid game plan. My man, Marques, man, tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you if they want to get some coaching, holla at you. Tell them how to DM a boss.
Yes, sir, man. So you guys can find me at Instagram, Marques B Fit. That's MarQuesB, as in boy, FIT. You can hit me up on there. Typically, I'm on there pretty consistently. You can also hit me up on Facebook, but I feel like Instagram's a little bit more social versus IG.
I don't really give my Facebook out too much. I feel kind of like it's old. IG kind of thing right now, so I don't really mention. I think as long as they can get you on the gram, they can pretty much get you wherever, man.
Yeah, hit me on the gram.
It's your boy, the one and only Johny Invest. Again, make sure you subscribe to Invest Universal. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. We out.